Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on THV 11. I'm Amanda Yeager.
And I'm Rob Evans, and you are joining us for one of our favorite holiday things we do here at THV 11, looking back on the year that we just went through and talking about the positive stories.
With all that's gone on in 2020, what better way to wrap it up than remembering all the best moments?
And let's begin way back at the beginning of 2020 with some of the stories that prove that we are truly better together.
It's been 10,000 hours, it's been 10,000 more.
Tripp Grieve and his older brother Race have gone viral after their mom Nicole posted this video of them together on Facebook, singing, "If it's 10,000 hours or the rest of my life, I'm gonna love you."
Perfect.
Tripp is a miracle baby. His parents say doctors didn't have much hope for him. A scan showed the chance for quality of life would come close to none.
They recommended that we terminate the pregnancy. And I said absolutely not.
But just weeks after their first appointment, Tripp's health progressed. The only difference, he was born with 3 chromosomes instead of 2.
I didn't want our boys to be ashamed of him because he's still their little brother regardless of what he has.
Nicole and JJ Grieve explained Tripp's Down syndrome diagnosis to their younger children, hoping their minds would be accepting of what sets him apart from them.
Race popped up real quick and said, "Aren't we all different?" And at that moment, I knew he'd be accepted.
10,000 hours.
A bond suddenly created. A promise that he will always love his little brother. Because true love doesn't count chromosomes.
Hold my hand straight.
Now Tripp's mom and dad hope the rest of the world can learn to see and love through the eyes of a child.
Aren't we all different?
Takes a little bit longer to learn, a little bit more caring, a little bit more loving, but isn't that what the world needs?
That's true.
In Cabot, Jordan Howington, THV 11 News.
I'm doing so good.
This is pretty much 5-year-old Easton Blocker's dream.
You ready?
Kickball in his front yard with his favorite person,
Not again!
his school security officer, Jeffrey Cross.
From day one, he has always had a fascination with Officer Cross.
So much so, Easton dressed just like him for Dress Like Your Favorite Person Day at school.
I was honored, for the fact that he would pick me.
Easton wouldn't have it any other way.
He keeps me safe every day.
Cross is the school security officer at Bobby G. Lester Elementary School in Jacksonville.
Missed our first year having an armed school security officer.
Jacksonville North Pulaski School District is the first district in Arkansas to have one in every school.
They had questions on why I was armed, and I would just tell them I'm armed to protect them from someone bad who would try to come hurt them.
That has since stuck with Easton.
He tells me every day, Officer Cross keeps us safe from the bad guys.
Easton's mom, Lauren, helped them look just alike,
Well, he was up before the alarms even went off this morning.
making Easton his very own security shirt.
Ta-da!
Junior security, that is.
That shirt is probably going to stick with him forever. It means a lot to him.
Seeing Easton all dressed up means a lot to Officer Cross, too,
It makes me appreciate my job more.
because it shows kids are grateful for heroes just like him.
I'm willing to put my life on the line for all these scholars, just like any other security officer will.
Up next, 2020 has been a rough road for small businesses, but Arkansans have found a way to keep going and keep serving their communities.
At this very moment, you are at home, you don't go out much, and you've probably been isolated to one or a handful of loved ones. Well, local photographer Noelle Buttrey is capturing these memories through the glass.
It just shows how we've all had to change during this time, how we've all had to adjust, and the lengths we'll go to still see our loved ones but not break the social distancing rules.
Noelle saw how the coronavirus created a new normal, so she grabbed her camera and took a picture. She soon realized these images spoke 1,000 words.
Everyone has a story, a quarantine story. A daughter and mom, the mom's 90-some, and we did them through her assisted living window. I've done a daycare, actually, and those kids were super excited. I just stayed outside the daycare windows, and she brought them all to the window.
And even a snapshot of a grandmother bringing joy to her grandson, who can only visit her from his balcony.
About once a week, I think she takes him a Happy Meal. And so I said, well, let this be the day you take him a Happy Meal.
Noelle has captured dozens of families making the best of an uncertain time, with the hope that this someday shows others what life was like during the COVID-19 pandemic.
How photographers captured the Dust Bowl and the Depression. This is something we've never experienced before. And I feel like it's capturing a part of history.
In Little Rock, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
2020 has been so unpredictable. We're just going to leave it at that, call it unpredictable, especially when it comes to business owners, your friends, your family, your neighbors who have struggled during this pandemic. We've also seen those same business owners, though, learning to adapt, to overcome, and to become successful, which is good news for everybody.
Their desire to help revitalize a community landed them right here in Benton.
We actually saw that it had an awesome courthouse with a neat surrounding downtown area, and we thought that if somebody would put some time and money into it, that it could be something great. The first thing we did was we purchased a whole block of houses that were in super rough shape, and we tore those down and built 13 new houses. And then the next thing we wanted was restaurants, places for people to go and hang out and have fun, and something that would attract more people to downtown Benton. So we purchased this old building from the city. Originally, this was the historic Palace Theater. It was built in 1919, and it was in pretty rough shape. So I feel like we did something pretty neat in saving that history.
After 10 months, we were ready to open. It was the middle of March. About a week before our open date, the governor announced that he was going to be closing dine-in restaurants. That was not part of our business plans. So the building is 12,000 square feet. So down here we have the 2 restaurants, and then we have a courtyard with games, bago and ping pong and all kinds of fun stuff. And then upstairs we have the axe throwing room.
How lucky for me that I wore my Lumber Jill shirt today to throw an axe.
We're just going straight back, straight forward.
You got 4 points.
It's barely in there too.
And then we have 3 Airbnb apartments that are 2-bedroom, 2-bath each.
We named it Valhalla. We were going for something light and fun, Norse mythology. And
where they eat and drink and have a good time.
The pandemic threw them a curve, and they threw an axe back.
From the outside, the Blue Umbrella might look like your average gift shop, but step inside, and you'll quickly find it's anything but. The store sits in the lobby of the Arkansas Department of Human Services building. Every item lining the shelves, the paintings, jewelry, and home decor are created.
Everything is made by individuals with developmental disabilities.
By the people DHS serves. People like Melanie Dickey.
I've been doing art since I was little. I've been always working on it, and I enjoy drawing and painting.
Her Christmas canvases are a hit. She makes wreaths and jewelry too, and she takes home 100% of the money she makes.
She's looking forward to that December check.
As does every artisan featured here.
I do save it up.
But Melanie and her mom agreed. This work is about so much more than money.
It was just always her outlet, kind of her therapy, I guess you could say. And she's just, she just comes so far with it.
Shannon Roberts, business planner for DHS, says having that outlet is especially important right now as we deal with the pandemic.
Change for us is difficult, but change for somebody with developmental disabilities makes it's even harder on them. So being able to express their feelings and what's going on the inside through creativity and creating items, it's very helpful for them.
And every sale sparks joy too.
It makes me happy and excited that people like to buy my stuff that I created.
Want proof?
Look what I bought today.
No, that's one of my trees.
One of your trees. It's awesome.
Thanks.
In Little Rock, Michael Aaron, THV 11 News.
One thing that has gotten so many of us through this year is the generosity of others. Next, good news of kindness, selflessness, and love.
Football players growing up in Little Rock, they dream big. Miles Fells is a perfect example. A star at Robinson High School, Fells, he decided he not only wanted to play, he wanted to serve as well.
I've gotten the opportunity to do a lot of trainings, military trainings, and got to learn a lot of things that I may not have, either by choice or, by opportunity.
Fells, now a senior on the Naval Academy football team, admits it's been anything but an easy journey.
Time crawled by, my freshman, sophomore year, but now, getting my junior, senior year, time is starting to fly a little bit faster. But I wouldn't change my decision at all.
For Fells, his service is about much more than himself.
Any chance I can get to represent Little Rock, I'll definitely do that, just to be able to provide maybe some hope and some inspiration.
Like a true midshipman, Fells leads by example. Yes, catching touchdowns is nice.
Nothing but green ahead for Miles Fells.
But helping the next generation, that's the biggest score.
It's just because I'm them. I know what it's like to get given an opportunity and just to be able to pass that on to, the people that's still there. That's like a really big honor to me.
Just another kid from Little Rock with big hopes for his city.
And I know it's a lot of potential. There's a lot of talent in Little Rock that's untapped. And I just want to do my part in giving back to that.
The spirit of giving is what the holiday season is all about, right? And in a year of so much loss and struggling, it has never been more important to give back to those in need. And that's what these next stories are all about, how a helping hand can make all the difference.
At this Dollar Tree, something really special happened. All it took was one man saying yes to impact another man's life in an unimaginable way.
I like to shop at Dollar Tree because it's cheap and you can get pretty much anything you need there.
It wasn't anything out of the ordinary for Jackson Dalby when he pulled up to Dollar Tree on Friday afternoon.
This guy outside approaches me, when I'm in, he's like, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And usually that's like a, handler trying to get money. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm not going to give you any money."
But money wasn't what the man needed.
He's like, "I'm not asking for money. I have a few groceries I can buy, but I can only afford $6 worth because that's all I had left in my bank account."
At first, Jackson hesitated, but then something about this stranger caught his eye.
Sometimes you might be end up doing something, but then you see like a sign.
That sign came in the form of a God tattoo on the man's forearm.
I think he works in mysterious ways.
Feeling a calling, Jackson told the man he would pay for the rest of his groceries. And going through the Dollar Tree aisles, he learned more about this stranger.
He told me a story about how he was a chef at a DoubleTree Hotel and that he's not working right now because the restaurant down.
Realizing the man wouldn't get a paycheck anymore and that he was trying to provide for his grandchildren, Jackson went from paying for a couple of items into $40 worth of essentials.
Luckily, I'm still working right now, but a lot of people that aren't. So if I was in their shoes, I would want someone else to do the same for me.
But the Good Samaritan deed didn't stop at the checkout line. Jackson drove the man to his apartment down the road. Helping him with his groceries, the man invited him in and said, "I have to do something."
As soon as I walk in, he had a Bible that was on the counter. So he took the Bible and came over to me and said, place your hand on it.
It was at that moment that two strangers became connected. While a man in need prayed and thanked God for placing a giver in his life during these trying times.
It was worth it.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
The Price family this holiday season
Laughing all the way.
are doing things a bit differently, delivering presents and gifts.
Hey, Rosie. Hey, this house right here. This house.
With Amanda Price dressed as Rosie the elf.
Rosie. Hey, stop. Rosie. Hey. This house.
Amanda's husband is a UPS driver.
There you go.
With the holiday rush, UPS needed helpers on the trucks. So that was Amanda's opening, to spread a little Christmas cheer.
I thought, how funny would it be to be his helper in an elf costume? Just kind of a humorous thing that I started this year.
With help from her son, she's taken Rosie's bright personality and silly antics to TikTok.
Now you just need to wrap the present, Rosie. That might be a little bit too much wrapping paper.
And now she wants Rosie the elf to bring cheer to those who need it the most this season.
I would love to reach people that haven't necessarily been able to get out of their homes or have experienced, just some real grief.
Since their UPS route is only in Maumelle, Rosie is willing to make some special stops.
And even though this is just a silly gesture, I really do believe that it can change people's lives.
Jay Jackson, THV 11 News.
We've got one more good news story to share after the break about a little girl with a big idea that's already changing the world. We all have that one Christmas memory where we got exactly what we were really hoping for.
It's a great feeling. And one little girl in Little Rock got an early Christmas present, and it was even more special because she helped create it.
The THV11's Lisa Goldsmith shares her story, a little girl but with big ideas.
Oh my gosh.
To understand the genuine excitement from 7-year-old Vivian Lord over a bag of toy soldiers,
I see some with buns, ponytails, long hair. It's so cool.
you'd have to go back to the first time we met in July of 2019.
I've been wanting to have cool army men, but there's no cool army men, so it's kind of weird.
She had just written a letter to toy companies across the country expressing her disappointment that there weren't any female toy soldiers on the market.
Why do you not make cool army men? My friend's mom is in the army too.
Nearly 1,200 miles away in Scranton, Pennsylvania, her letter landed in the hands of Jeff Immel.
This wasn't the first time you had an inquiry about female soldiers.
No.
Immel, the president of BMC Toys, agreed to grant Vivian's wish. He and a team of others immediately got to work, commissioning the prototype, producing the mold, manufacturing the soldiers, and shipping them off.
I never expected how important it was going to be to women veterans and women military people. They just, it was something that really touched something within them that they just, it really gave them a little bit of a sense from what they told me, just a little bit of validation. And they often feel overlooked, even though they've been a huge part of the military for a very long time.
As promised, just in time for Christmas 2020, Vivian got her female toy soldiers in the mail.
It says BMC Toys, USA Soldiers Plastic Army Woman figures. It says 38 pieces. Also says a Kickstarter up there. And if you notice that person in the middle, it used to be a boy, but now it is a girl. They changed their logo to a girl.
I don't think anyone that knows Vivian was surprised about how she went about correcting it, if you will, Yeah. That's her. She's always been really into justice and things being equal and fair and treating everyone the same.
A major accomplishment this 7-year-old and others just like her can be so proud of. And for anyone wanting to change the way history has been written, Vivian has this advice.
I would say to them, never quit. Stopping your dream. Keep going until it happens.
Well, that's going to do it for our Good News of 2020 special. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
We hope you and your family are having a very happy and healthy holiday season. And from all of us at THV11, have a Happy New Year.
Good evening and Merry Christmas.